Hey guys, this is Josh again. I'm gonna do another pedal video, and I love this. I love just playing guitar and showing my pedals, and it's a lot of fun for me. It may or may not be fun for you, I don't know, but at least you can gain some insight or something from what I do, I guess, or maybe what you might not want to do. Either way. Hope it's beneficial to you, and I enjoy it a lot. I enjoy playing guitar, and I'm looking forward to trying out more new gear and stuff. I'm really excited about that. But yeah, I'm just going to kind of go through the practical settings and things that I use. Today's video might be kind of a little bit shorter because, as you can see in the top of the screen there, I'm going to be demoing a pedal called the Full Tone Fat Boost. And I'm not sure how many people have used these. I know back in the day, I saw a few friends who had them on their boards. But this is an odd version. I guess it's an earlier version of it. And it's really funky color. It's nothing really that pretty. It's, you know, nothing super special looking or fancy. It just kind of has this little tone notch at the bottom. As you can see, this tiny little notch thing, which is nice that it's so tiny because then my foot doesn't, you know, kick it. And then it's got a drive, so it's a little bit dirtier than like some of the like exotic pedals or like I can't think of brands and things right now. But there's a lot of boost pedals out there that are really, really great, really, really awesome sounding. They do a great job. This one's a little bit. Obviously, it's very fat sounding, so it's full sounding, thus full tone. You know, no, this is getting really dorky fast. Sorry, but no, but it has a little, you know, like you can dial in some more drive to it, and I love the way it pushes the front of the amp, and it's the perfect. This I do record with all the time, so I'll sometimes just even use an amp that's kind of on the edge of breakup tone, like Rhett Shull talks about and others like to use, or even cranked, and it will either push it or sparkle, whatever you've got. And I love it. It's so, I know it's redundant, but it's just so full sounding. So you can notch the tone up. And I do kind of have it notched kind of high because what I have is a really, really full and bassy kind of, and a lot of mid-range. I do like a lot of mid-range, but not a whole lot, but a lot of bass. And so when I'm kind of playing and I've built my sound and I'm doing a lot of rhythm, I like to kind of notch the treble and treat it a little bit more like a treble booster than not, but it is a really full boost, so it's not anything like a treble booster or a distortion or anything like that. It's just extremely full, and it'll just crank the front end of your amp like a preamp, and it will just slam the signal if you want it to, or just kind of bloom the signal if it's really, really clean. So, and it just has so much dynamic to it. I love it so much. So anyways, enough of me rambling. And I'll just play a little bit between both amps and then play a little bit with my Les Paul, just hear the difference. And, you know, it's fat sounding, and so it definitely does some magic for some single coils. But I've used it a lot with, like, I had a P90 guitar for a little while, humbuckers, Telecaster for a while. I've used it with everything. Hollow body, it's all around a fantastic boost. When I got it, I promise I'll not talk so long this time around, but when I got it back several years ago, I had come through town, and I live in north side of Chattanooga, and there's this little tiny shop, I forgot even what it was called. And it's up Hickson Pike. If you guys know, if any of you know where Hickson Pike is, and kind of the north side of Chattanooga, almost to Lakeside, Saudi Daisy area. This is where I live. There was a little shop up there, and they had a few things. They had a lot of used guitars, and then they had just a few little things that would cycle through. It was a nice shop. I really liked the guy. And then when I bought this pedal from him, honestly, just to try it out because it was inexpensive, and I do like Fulltone's stuff. And I've ended up keeping it. I think I bought it in 2015. And I've kept it since then on the board. And it's worked wonders, definitely in recording. And then in like lead settings when you're playing live and you just kind of want to sparkly, you know, it retains a lot of the clarity kind of a lead. And I mean, it gets dirty, but it's not like boosting a high gain or anything like that. It's just been a great little pedal. As you can see, the volume knob is broken off. And that's actually beneficial to me because then it just kind of stays at the volume that I'd like it to be, especially for live, and I don't like kick it or something. But yeah, anyways, back to this little shop, and man, I wish I would have sat around and thought of the name of the shop and the man's name much sooner than now. I didn't even think about it until right now. I started doing this video, but a couple years ago, I think Joe Bonamassa was in town in Chattanooga area, and he bought almost everything that was of value in his store. He just went in and bought a bunch of stuff, and so he ended up shutting down. If anyone remembers this store, feel free to make a comment or something like that. And I will jump back in the comments or something and try to remember to make a comment about the name of this place if I can remember it. But anyways, it's just a unique thing. I love this pedal, and yeah, let me demo it for a little bit. That's my clean sound and the bad cat. There you go. Yeah, woo. I'll play it a little bit in the epiphone, the 212. A little bit different characteristics, slightly. Slightly more headroom, just slightly, not a whole lot. Yeah, it's a very, very dynamic pedal. I mean, sweet, yeah. So I know it's sounding redundant, but it's a full tone. It really is. I think this pedal demonstrates maybe what the branding of full tone is all about. I've not really owned a lot of full tone pedals. I mean, back in the day when boutique pedals were just starting to kind of come around more, full tone was kind of the most available and kind of ahead of its game. You know, they have the tape echo thing, that's real tape. and stuff like that. And all the pedals sound great from what I remember. And I've worked at a few guitar stores. But as far as myself, I just, for some reason, hadn't really owned a lot of them, except for this Fat Boost. And this Fat Boost has stayed on my board, and it will stay on my board. I love it so much. It's just simple, practical, and yep, I've got it set to the way I want it, and you can dial back the drive a little bit if you just want to make it more of a more clean kind of a boost. It's got a lot of dynamic range as far as that goes. So I'm going to loop a little bit and just play around with different effects and just whatever I want for a minute. And then I'm going to switch to the Les Paul, see what that sounds like. It's wonderful. Cool. Now I'm going to switch to the ye old Les Paul. See what that sounds like. And it should push it a little bit harder, so it'll have a little more gain. And hopefully, both these things is still in tune. Not really, but so yeah, it's a lot for the Les Paul. But when you start stacking the gain on, like, you know, the Strat or maybe like a Telecaster too, of course it's very nice, very smooth, very palatable. But if you're using the Les Paul or a humbucker and you're using this Fat Boost thing, it's pretty much all you'll be able to use. So, because, you know, it's just pushing it so hard. So. Yeah. So, yeah, it's just pretty much all you've got at that point, which is great for leads. And it's since it's so full sounding, very full frequency. Again, like my last few videos, I've expressed that's kind of my vibe. Not really a lead guitar player. I'm more of a rhythm, and then I switch to a little bit of lead, and then kind of mix of both all the time throughout every song, pretty much. So I like a much more full frequency sound. But what was I going to say? Oh yeah. So what I do love about this pedal is also with recording. It's very full and lots of frequencies to work with, lots of sparkle and presence, but without being like harsh. You know, kind of in the high mids or something like that. It's not too harsh of a pedal. Like it's not pushing any one particular frequencies. And like I do have the tone dialed up, so that way when I push the front end of the amp, kind of all my bass sound, bass frequencies, because I like a lot of bass, isn't compressing it. Isn't compressing the treble. The treble's sort of escaping a little bit. So even if I push and stack pedals underneath this one, it just kind of gets dirtier and dirtier depending on what you do, as opposed to boosting the dBs. That's the thing about boost pedals. It's an interesting experiment as far as not only like gain, if you're stacking a lot of different pedals, but also boosting like the input dB volume. So once you do that with an old-fashioned amp, it's just only going to squash so far. So you kind of have to just find a neat little balance and either work with it or use it by itself. And so yeah, I do a mix of both there. But in recording sessions, just this guitar and an amp cranked a little bit more and getting it kind of sparkly. And then a chimey, and then boost this thing and dial that into taste. Makes a really nice bass lead guitar sound on recordings for sure. It's pretty much, you know, almost all you can get because, you know, you're just slamming a bunch of frequencies into the front end of your amp. But anyways, it's just been a great little pedal. I love it so much. We're gonna loop a little bit with this guitar. And yeah, call it a video. Not much of a video, but I just wanted to show off some of my pedals that I have and that I use a lot. Wonderful. Let's do a little bit more here. Yeah, there you go. And again, I play a lot of rhythms, but if you're a lead player, I think you'll really enjoy this pedal too. It'd be a great, it's very inexpensive. And, you know, there's a lot of fancy, expensive pedals out there, but I think this pedal's really, really great, especially for the money. So we'll play a little bit more. Take care and God bless.